Get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration.
I did it again. I always leave that thing up. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Hijinks in the morning. I hope you all had a good week. I was so busy. I was really busy this week, and I did hang out with Jeff one time or two. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I've been burning the candle at both ends, trying to get a lot of stuff done. And but it's good. I mean, the week went by, like Enzo says, we survived. We did. We survived. So why don't we go ahead and bring on Enzo.
That helmet is so confining. It's
I'll put you. Why do I want you to suffocate out there?
it's not a lot of air out there. Good morning, everyone. We made it to Friday.
How are you? Sorry, I had to take a drink.
It's all right.
Everybody's like texting me
Thirsty
already.
work doing this show. I'm doing great. Going to be leaving for my road trip here in a couple of weeks. Very excited about that. Driving to California from Kansas. I'm actually one of those weirdos that enjoys driving. I actually enjoy driving like that. That's my moment of zen. Is once you get out on the highway, you set the cruise control. You don't need 100% of attention to what's going on around you. You can kind of zone out a little bit.
Then at least I can. That's good. I mean, I like it too. I used to more, when I was younger, but now it's like, okay, let's see the plane tickets.
Yeah. As far as when it goes to driving, like 12 hours is about my limit. It's like, all right, I'm clawed at the car doors. Like, get me out of here. I just need to move. You know,
And I'm good. I'm good for about 8 hours, 9 at max. And then yep. No, I'm done. So I'm definitely flying to Washington. And oh, I think I even saw Jay in the chat. So we have Bat Mom. Good morning, Bat Mom. Jen, good morning. We might see a little Jennifer this morning. We'll see if she could jump on. Bigfoot Atheist. There's Joe. Good morning. Who else do we have? We've got, did I say Bat Mom? I saw Sandra Piper. Good morning, Cindy Finn. Thanks, Cindy. You sent me some information. I'm already busy, and that thing can suck you in. She sent me a site that kind of a vital statistics kind of place you can go into to check on things, and oh my God, you just get sucked into looking at things you don't even want to look at.
Yeah, just distractions. It's
yeah, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting.
It's something shiny.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So morning, Suze. My sister's in the house. There, yeah, I did see Jay from Bigfoot Barbecue. My buddy. We have 2 months to go before I do my big trip to Washington. So it's starting to get real, you know? It's like, okay, I got to get this. I have to get this ready. I have to, all the little things that I want to make sure I have with me, because I'm just taking one suitcase. So, you know, I got to make it count what I do have.
And that's got to include all your hiking / camping gear too. So,
well, hopefully Jay hooks me up there, buddy. Jen and I need your help here. We need a tent, so a couple cots, couple sleeping bags, and and he says he has a potty for us too, so that's important. Jay, let me know. You don't have any of those things, please let me know, and I will have them shipped to you for us. Okay.
Because, go up a day early and just do shopping up there, and then just mail it to yourself when you get done, and that way.
That's going to be a big pain and it cost a lot too to do that, though. I'll just get the really cheap stuff and then leave it there for Jay.
Just abandon it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. My sister says most of the time when we're driving, we are under hypnosis, which is kind of true. You get so.
Oh yeah, that's me. That's 100% me.
I get that freeway. What is that thing where you lose your time? Where did I pass that exit already? I like zone out. I go on autopilot. That's kind of scary though. I'm like, how did I just drive 2 miles on the freeway and I don't remember any of it?
That's my favorite part. I mean, I'm more than happy to play in my mind whatever it is I'm thinking about at the time. And it's like, oh, it's been 2 hours. Look at that. Suddenly see something. It's like up ahead on the road. It's like, oh, that's I must be in Utah. I see giant colorful mesas out there.
There's Max Powers in the chat. Good morning, Max, the Bigfoot hunter. Good to see you. So today, well, you guys all know my coffee. I did get my coffee maker. I was 2 hours without a coffee maker. That was it.
Oh my God.
I went and I replaced it immediately. And it's all my husband's fault. He doesn't know I'm going to blame him. But I think he let the well, because on those Keurigs, you have to keep the well filled. And I think on when he did his in the morning, he let it suck dry and it blew my motor because nothing was sucking by the time I got up to make my coffee.
You don't have like a low level indicator thing that?
Yeah, we do. I mean, absolutely. Yes, we do.
Well, I mean, like on my, I have like a small cheap one. You've got a big fancy one, but mine, a little light comes on, says to fill water, and it won't pump anything. even though I can
I
see
don't
there's like
know.
that much water in the bottom.
We got it in 2019, so it had its run. It had, for something like that, they tend not to last that long. So I
Yeah.
think we were pretty lucky to get what we got out of it. But when I went to look, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get a new model, blah blah blah. I didn't like them. They didn't serve what I wanted them to do, the new ones, because the one that I got, the little bottom part removes so you can put your big cubs
Yep.
underneath. These new ones, that's not removable. And I was like, nope,
What?
guess I'll go back. The other ones have a fancy old frother on the side now to put your milk and froth up, make cappuccinos and stuff. And I'm like, fancy, but I don't want that. I just want this one. So I just got a new one. And I'm happy I did so. So no learning curve. We already knew how to use it. Right? But that's good.
Yep.
So
Gotta go with the old tried and true. I don't have a problem with that.
Really excited about tonight. Tonight we are going to have another Hairyman movie night. And we have The Ape Man, 1943, runs about 64 minutes. But it looks like it's going to be really good. And
1943?
Yeah, black and white. I'm excited. I've never seen it, so it'll be a new thing. And since it's such a short feature film, I made it into a double feature. So tonight, after that, we're going to watch. Have you ever heard of the TV series "The Making of Mankind," presented by Richard Leakey?
No.
Well, his very first episode 1 of that season is called "In the Beginning, Homo Sapiens." So we're going to be watching that as well. And it looks interesting. I was enthralled with it. So that one is in color, but it's like, well, it's 1981 is when that one came out. But
not very
it's
good.
Still amazing how the difference in TV making has come from the 80s to now, because it still seemed cheesy. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, okay. But it was okay. It's okay. We should have a good time tonight. And I did want to invite a few people to come on tonight. So I'm going to make that decision. Who's going to get to come? I have 3 slots available. And I mean, I'm sure I can put a bunch of people at the bottom, but I don't want to put too many voices talking over everybody. And we'll see. I was thinking of you, Mr. Joe, if you would like to participate tonight. I don't know if you're going to be having a show tonight or what you're doing. So, Joseph, if you would like to attend tonight's premiere, well, it's not really a premiere, double feature. Let me know. I think Leon really wants one of those slots for sure. So I don't know if he's up this morning. He hates to get up early, so he always misses my morning show. But I'll be shooting him a message today to see if he'd like to join. And I've got that third spot. So I was going to ask Jennifer. But we'll see if she comes on, and if Jennifer wants to come on tonight as well. So it's going to be fun. I can't wait.
I'm really curious about that first one that was made in basically the middle of World War II, and they pushed out whatever this documentary is.
Whatever this is, yeah, The Ape Man. I think they thought it was original. According to what I was reading about it, it was put out to be kind of serious, but it ended up being comedic. It took a big turn.
So bad that it's funny.
So, yeah, so bad that it's funny. So we'll see. I don't know. Okay, so Joe just said he's a yep. He's a yepers. So that's good. And so today, though, I wanted to talk about the power of photography. Okay.
Ooh.
And how some pictures are captured that are just amazing. And I've done a couple of these before, but I found this one, which is that reveal the incredible power of photography. So let me move over here. And we don't know what that is yet, but it's a town. That's got to be France. Because see, it's got one of those circle-y things. Yeah, that looks like the Arc de Triomphe
I think you're
in
right.
the middle. Oh, sorry. I have to get my coffee in. It was early for me today, too, because I had to take all week. I've taken the kids to school and picked up.
Mm.
Okay, so here's the first one. This is the recovering the Apollo 13 command module shortly after splashdown in 1970. And
And of
it
course,
is just,
Apollo 13 was the one that had all the problems in flight. They never actually went down to the moon. They had a lot of problems before getting there. They were actually lucky to even make it back home, to be honest.
wow.
And of course, the great film Apollo 13, Ron Howard made,
Yeah.
Tom
Yeah, yeah.
Hanks, and a bunch of others. It's a great movie, and it was kind of funny because it was true. They show it a little bit in the movie that by this time, this was like the third moonshot, and it had already become old hat as far as a lot of the TV watching public was like, okay, this is just going to be a regular thing. Every,
Mhm.
several months they'll
Yeah.
we'll send people to the moon. It's like, all right. So there weren't that many people watching like live. It wasn't like round the clock live coverage like Apollo 11 and 12. This is like,
Mhm.
well, if there's something important, we'll let you know. Oh, and something important came up.
Jeez. Look, they even have white gloves. You see that? Well, that guy over there on that side doesn't, but the majority of them have white gloves.
Yeah, there was still a lot about traveling in space they just didn't know. Plus, they didn't know, this thing did just, tear through the atmosphere. Sure, it landed in the ocean, so I'm sure it cooled off, but you don't know what kind of effects or contaminants may have been
Right.
on the actual capsule itself. Because even the stuff that was part of the actual spacecraft can usually be fairly toxic sometimes. That go in, the fuel used in the rockets and things like that. Even the attitude adjustment controls and stuff like that. So wearing a little PPE is probably a good idea.
Look at that. He's in that little basket.
Yep, they had a helicopter
And
that would come out. They would hop out of the capsule and they'd pull them up into the basket that way, and then they would slowly just drag the capsule over to the nearest ship and bring it aboard.
yeah, you can see the divers in the water.
Yeah, landing in the water is it's less impact than like landing on the like in Russia, their space program. They always land on the land. They don't have a warm weather port really anywhere in their country, so that all of their stuff, they basically just splat down somewhere out in Siberia, usually, maybe miles off where they were. It's actually part of their regular, because they have like little survival kit kind of thing, the Russians do, for all their returning capsules, which includes a gun in case there's bears.
Oh
Like
gosh,
Siberian polar bears, to be specific.
Oh my god,
which would be more than that. This would be like Grubhub, them finding a capsule out there in the middle of the woods. Be like, oh, all right, we got delivered tonight.
That's a tasty friend.
Crunchy on the outside with a rich nougaty center.
Yeah. This next one is the traffic on the Golden Gate Bridge soon after it opened in 1937.
1937.
Look at that. All walking. And we were talking about, we did kind of view this one and we're like, look at that one car right in the middle.
One jalopy there in the middle. And then being 1937, you know, that's the rich guy. It's probably like the mayor of San Francisco or something like that in there.
Right. It doesn't look like it's moving. It just seems like it's there, but I don't know. You know, I don't know. But it's still.
You have a fear of heights? Do you see like even still pictures and think that it's moving? Is that something that you suffer from?
Not. No. I mean, I don't really. I have this weird thing with heights, and I don't know. I get this impulse and I have to like I guess it is. I'm afraid of heights, I guess. So I have to move back.
I'm not scared of heights, but if I'm watching like a movie, especially now that I've got a giant ass TV and high definition 4K and all that stuff, if they're running around and they're like come on the cliff or they are running along the edge of a building like a goofy Marvel movie or something, the whole time I'm like, yeah.
I can say that, yeah, I get that feeling too. But it doesn't stop me from doing things. I still get up on the ladder. Right. I still, do airplanes and look out the window. And so it doesn't restrict me. But I do get that whoa feeling, So, for sure. Walking. All the ladies wearing dresses.
And it's 1937. I forget how long the Golden Gate Bridge is. But you see, it's quite a walk. I'm sure once they got to the other end of the bridge, they had to turn around and go back. I'm sure there wasn't like
a whole lot on the other end.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people. I'm sure people only went halfway. Like, yeah, I'm not walking all the way across. This is fine.
Yeah, they just went to the middle. Crazy. So a photo taken from behind the Lincoln Memorial statue during Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous speech, I Have a Dream, in 1963.
Wow. That was, look at all the people there around the waiting pool there.
Yeah, I wonder if I can get that one.
Jam packed.
There we go.
That's a brilliant photo.
It is. Somebody, whoever took this was like, oh, that would be a cool shot. Climbed.
And that was probably there? It's like, oh, this will be an artsy farce. It's like, no, that's history, my friend. You have captured this slice in time of
right
iconic revolution.
Look at it. Look all the way down. You can just packed. Just
a sea of people there.
For sure. That is so crazy. Okay. So that was in 1963, August. 250,000 civil rights supporters. Next one is the Statue of Liberty under construction in 1884. Whoa, just see a big old hand.
Oh, yeah,
Whoa,
it is.
Look at the faces on those workers. Like they don't give a shit about anything.
Just iron workers and of course, the statue itself is a lot of copper in it that goes into building it. That's why it has that kind of greenish hue now. If you've ever seen,
yeah. Huh? Those guys do not even crack a smile. They are just like, dang, not happy. So this was in France.
They should be happy. It's not like this is where they're actually assembling it in France. Okay, before they
this is in France before it gets, because I guess it went in sections, and then when it got to the U.S., they put it together. So reassembled, 450,000 pound statue.
Wow. I guess that might explain why they don't look that happy. It's like, man, we're building this thing just to send it to the Yanks over in America. They don't care. It ends up being one of our most iconic things. So
okay, so I know this is trivia, but how tall is the Statue of Liberty?
I don't
I
know.
can't remember the answer, so I hope somebody
Look it
knows.
up.
Because some reason I keep thinking 36 feet, but that doesn't seem right.
Have you ever been there?
I saw her ass. We didn't make the last ferry.
Well, she is French after all. So the Statue of Liberty is 151 feet tall and stands on a pedestal that is 154 feet tall, making the height of the entire sculpture 305 feet.
305 feet. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah, no, we misjudged. We were fooling around and looking at, downtown New York or the area, and we better get over to the ferry. We got there just too late. The last ferry took off, so we weren't able to go. So we just looked because we were on the Jersey side.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the story. I've got pictures of me and my husband before we were married, with the Twin Towers behind us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in New York a couple different times in the 80s, and it seemed like forever, but they were doing this reconstruction around the Statue of Liberty, kind of cleaning it up and reinforcing some of the structure on it that was kind of rusting through, because the inner part of it's all iron and the outer part is all made out of copper plating and stuff like that. And so it was kind of falling apart. So they had this giant scaffolding that actually looked similar to what we're looking at here that kind of surrounded the whole thing. So you just saw this skeleton of scaffolding all around the outside of it for many years. And just happened to be when I was there. And I was kind of sad about that. There was no tours or anything like that during that time.
Oh, I guess I wasn't even upset about it. It was so damn cold. I just wanted to go back into the truck. We were there in January and it was freaking cold. I mean, I wasn't happy about that because I only took a light jacket with me.
Yeah, it's pretty chilly out there on the
it was cold, and that wind effect, that lake or right there, that water was just freezing. It was, you could feel it. This is Times Square in 1900s.
Look at that. Studebaker, Owl Cigars, and Budweiser. Hey, Budweiser, change your plans for commercials in the future.
Boy, you could count the cars. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's never.
Actually,
there's
a lot
still
of what
a
we're
horse
seeing
and
is
buggy. Yeah, look at that. I see a horse and buggy there, and over here.
The tracks for the trolley kind of a thing that they have there.
Right down the middle. It's really crazy. Oh, there's more of the picture.
Look at that.
New York roof. I don't know. I don't see anything crazy going on.
Cool.
So let's see. Times Square served as the early site for William Vanderbilt's American Horse Exchange, and it was mostly a large open space surrounded by apartments. However, soon after, the neighborhood started to change until it became what it is today. Nice.
1900. I wonder if even some of those buildings didn't even have like electricity running to them necessarily. Not throughout the whole building.
It doesn't say exactly when, but it looks very early to me. So, do we see street? There is street lamps, but I suppose we don't know if. Well, yeah, isn't that how the trolleys were working? They were working off those little electrical things.
I don't see the overhead wires like you saw in like San Francisco and places like that. It could be. We're not talking about 4K HD photograph here. So.
Yeah, can't tell. Next, onlookers witnessing the Challenger explosion shortly after the space shuttle took off on January 28th, 1986. Do you remember where you were?
I had just graduated basic training in San Antonio, Texas, and was en route by bus to my tech school training in Wichita Falls, Texas. And we stopped at some greasy spoon place along the way to have lunch, and everyone was like freaking out and every TV was on. And it's like, the space shuttle blew up this morning. Didn't you know? It's like, no, I've been on a bus for the last 8 hours.
Oh, wow. Ooh, Rod Dupree said the trolley cars were underground cable driven.
Ah, there you go.
Nice. I can remember I was in the library for English class in high school. And there was a TV in there, and she put it on. So we were watching, a bunch of us were gathered around watching the TV.
I guess there were a lot of schools that had that particular launch on there because it was the first time that they had a teacher, a regular civilian.
Yes. That's why.
Did I tell you like the weird story behind that? Supposedly, they wanted to get more kids interested in science and stuff. I have no idea if this is a true story or not, but it's one of those tales that you hear.
Yeah.
But supposedly they wanted to get more kids interested in like the space program and science and technology and stuff like that. So they convinced the actor that's inside the Big Bird costume from Sesame Street to go up on one of the shuttles. And they were going to film a whole segment with Big Bird in space. And they had like a, aluminum foil kind of astronaut outfit for him and all this stuff. So the actor that's inside the costume went through all the regular astronaut training. He was in one of those classes, so going through all the training and all that stuff. And then they got to the part of the logistics of it. Turns out the inside of the space shuttle where the actual astronauts live is actually very small and cramped. And there's no way you're getting this like 8-foot tall costume anywhere inside of there. There's like one specific place that he might like wear the upper part of it and be able to get on a camera.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is not going to work. And it's way too late into the thing. We'll tell you what, we got to cancel this. So who else do kids look up to? A teacher. We got a teacher that's in the pipeline. So the teacher, this will fly on this shuttle mission and she'll fill that same role.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't the first selection.
If they could have figured the costume and how to fit it in there and how it would have shot and all that stuff, Big Bird would have blown up on that shuttle launch.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
I mean, how horrifying.
It was horrible anyway, but can you imagine? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that would be traumatic. There would still be kids.
I gotta take. I have an emergency call. I gotta take this.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh shoot! I can't do it. I'm on the wrong place here.
So, what do you think, chat? Since it's just us, do you think that's a real story about Big Bird and the space shuttle? I've heard that story from a couple different people, so I don't know if it's true. But man, how horrifying would that be? Because every little kid would be in front of the TV to see Big Bird get launched into space. Hi, Sharon. Yeah, that was a pretty horrific day. Because by the time I'd gotten to, it was all day traveling on a bus to get to where I needed to go. All the flags were already at half staff. Everybody was just walking around in a daze. Couldn't believe that it had happened. Pretty horrific stuff.
I'm back. Okay. Right. All's good.
Okay.
Now I have to be over in the other place. Okay. So that was very sad. I just remember it was traumatizing for that.
Very much.
Space program. The next one is the aerial view of Stonehenge in the United Kingdom. I think I'm going to make that smaller. So it's so tiny when you look at it from up above.
I've seen it from a distance. They weren't allowing, they used to have, they may even, I don't know when this picture was taken, but they kind of have it all fenced off now. You can't just go wandering around and lay around on the rocks or anything like that. But
Right.
It is way smaller than what you think it is. Because you always see like pictures like this where you don't see people standing around it for context for how big it is.
Yeah. Why do they not have the walkway just go all the way around?
You know what? I don't know. Actually, it may be part of because as you can see, like just in that wide shot picture, there's kind of this trench looking structure there around it, and then you see like another one off to the side. It's believed that that's, and you can actually see there's kind of a line going down from the bottom, leading off there. That's all part of the site. That it was designed that way. So they don't want anybody. Well, one, they don't want wackos going in there thinking there's some kind of interdimensional portal. They're going to get to go home or whatever it is that people think. But you can see there's stuff dug into the ground there that they're almost afraid to excavate because of tearing something up. So they kind of try and leave it as is as much as possible. I think once a year there's a group of druids that they allow in there to do ceremonies.
Oh, wow.
In there.
That's amazing.
But, which, as we saw last week, druids are a thing. They are not the Grim Reaper sneaking around at the coronation like we saw last week.
So we've got our guest is here. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, Enzo. Like all my electronics are just being wonky this morning. Like my laptop wouldn't hook up to the link, and when I'm looking at the phone, everything's just.
Oh no!
Yep, everything was just spinning you right out. There she is again.
Wow.
Okay, so issues in Jennifer Land. But did you like your new intro? Oh no, she's
oh no.
She's usually pretty good though. Are you there? Hello. Yeah. See, these are the things you can't plan for. You just don't know.
You can't.
Technical issues are technical issues, and you just gotta work with it. Just like my guest from last Sunday, Henry May. He couldn't hear us. It turns out he couldn't hear what we were saying. So he was just catching little bits and pieces, and he kept dropping off and back on. And so, it makes for hard. You can't have a good conversation if you can't hear what's going on. So, but I mean, we made it work. It was okay. It's okay, Jen, if you can't get on. It's okay. Something's going on because you normally can get on. So maybe the internet in your area is down or whatever.
She's been talking bad about the CIA. Just asking.
I know.
But
they're watching you. They don't want you to say what you got to say. So we'll keep going.
We don't want her to talk about what's going on at Stonehenge.
The portals. It's a portal you walk through. How many movies are there that you've seen them? I've seen many where they go to Stonehenge and they walk underneath there and they go into a different portal.
They teleport somewhere else.
Yeah, a bunch of kid shows and stuff. They do that. But anyway, it's fascinating. I would love to go. I definitely would love to go just to say I went. I don't know how much time you could spend there, though.
I know. I don't know if they still keep it fenced off the way it used to be because I guess because this was back in the 90s, I think, or late 80s, early 90s that they had to fence it all off because people were going in there screwing around.
Yeah, well, you got people who are very disrespectful. very disrespectful, and they go in there and do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And you've seen where there are historical sites where people keep touching, and wherever they touch, the oils from the skin have just worn away certain areas. Have you seen, there's
Yes.
many places like that where, you can see where people have just worn out seats, worn out signs, worn out because people touch it. And over time, it just, all of that wears it out.
It was about 2 weeks ago. I just watched, I don't know what the fascination it was. I mean, I kind of get it a little, but it seems like every knothead skater boy YouTuber that somehow finds their way to Egypt, we're going to sneak up on top of the pyramid tonight kind of thing. And they, you see them like climb up there, and every time they climb up on a different layer, there's chunks of it breaking off and it's all brittle. And it's just like, what are you doing?
Yes, that is so wrong. And there was even that recent one of that lady who climbed up that pyramid in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
And she made it to the top. But when she got down, man, those people were pissed. Oh my God.
Didn't they have to drag her out of there? They were going to.
Yes, they had to protect her because people were trying to clobber her and everything. So great. Don't do that, folks. Don't be that person. She's like, what? What's the big deal? Anyway. So this is the inside view of the Roman Colosseum, which was built between 72 AC and 80 AC.
Wow.
AC. I thought it was
I was going to ask you. It was like, all right, I don't know what AC means. Is that like AD or BC, or is it
after Christ?
We've combined both.
Where's Rod? Rod will know. Is AC supposed to be AD? And does that mean AC. If it is AC, is it after Christ?
Probably not. Even the BC and AD it was something in Latin. I forget what it was. Basically, that's kind of what it's sort of supposed to mean, but it doesn't literally mean that.
Yeah. I know. I'm just shooting.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting because if I recall, like we see in the very center part of the circle there, those are actually were underneath an area. Didn't they have a structure built on there where there was like a roof over there, which you can sort of see at the end? Those were kind of like not catacombs, but where they kept all of the fighters, I guess, that would
where they kept the animals and the gladiators. That's where they kept the animals and the gladiators. Because didn't the gladiators even fight like lions and stuff?
Oh yeah, they sure did. And the occasional political prisoner. Here's a rusty sword.
Sink. I hope they had good.
If you can kill this lion, if you can make it out of this past the lions, we'll let you go.
Robert says AC is alternating current. I agree. I'm just saying, I don't know if this person who wrote this article knows the difference, made a mistake by accident.
Every about 25, 30 years, somebody wants to change the timing thing because they all believe that the C part of it has to do with Christ. And it's like, we can't have our numbering system based on religious stuff. It's like, all right, relax. It doesn't. But anyways, yeah, it would have been I'd have been curious to see what this looked like back in its heyday. Because I guess there was one part where they had a giant sunshade that went over part of the crowd so that as the sun was passing over, it wasn't just baking people alive there. Yeah.
I sent you another link there, Jen. I mean, it's the same link, but maybe the first one got corrupted, or I don't know. I think it's on her end though.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's how that works for the links. But
Right. Well,
come back.
somebody in the chat said send her a different link. You doesn't work that way.
No,
There's only
it's
one
always the
link
same
for the
link.
show. Okay, so let's move on. Oh crap. Wrong button. Okay. Next is Yankee Stadium on opening day 1923.
1923.
Look, it even has dirt roads. It's all dirt. But they made a stadium.
As I recall, this was kind of built like outside the city at the time, and it was kind of out in the country, as I recall.
Oh, okay. Yankee Stadium. Wow. The inaugural game was against the New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox. Wow, nice. I've never been to Yankee Stadium.
Never been there myself either. It's I wonder how much of that original structure is still there.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, how does that stuff hold up? It's still there, right? So did they have to remodel it, or I'm sure there's been many remodels and stuff,
yeah.
but what is true? What has stayed and remained? Well, it's brick, so
I'm sure it's probably been like the brick has probably been cleaned and resurfaced at least probably once or twice over the years. Because 1920, I mean, that's 100 years. It's 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, April 18th, that was 100 years and a month ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sharon. I just saw your thing. She said she lived not far from Stonehenge. Next is Willard Scott, the original Ronald Clown of McDonald's in 1963.
He's got a
cup on his nose.
And for our younger listeners, viewers, Willard Scott in his later years was the Today Show's weatherman for many years.
Yes, that's who it is. I'm like, why do I recognize that name? Willard Scott. Yes, it is. Now I can see it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, if you look at the face, you can sort of see it.
Yeah, you can. Whoa, those did not look like good fries, though.
Yeah, those are kind of chunky.
So I guess just clay. He's part of his outfit.
It's the unhappy meal.
So Willard Scott was a local radio personality who also played Bozo the Clown on WRC TV in Washington, D.C. He performed using the moniker Ronald McDonald, the Hamburger Happy Clown, in 1963 on 3 separate television spots. These were the first 3 television ads featuring the character.
What has he got on his head?
It's a box with...
Oh, it's got toys and stuff in it? What the...
Yeah, I thought it would be the hamburger, but it's not. I think it's just a bunch of toys. Like he's in a toy box or something. I don't know.
Hard to tell.
Interesting, though. Interesting. This is the Sarychev. I think that's how you say it. Volcano eruption is seen from space. The Strat volcano covering almost the entirety of Matua Island in the Kuril Islands in Russia.
And before that big explosion, it was totally overcast there, and you can see the ring that the explosion made in the clouds, and even how big the shadow is of that going off to the right.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah, volcanoes are bad news.
Oof. Oh, Al Capone fishing on his yacht in 1931. need to. I can't line it up right. He is in his house shoes. There we go.
Yep. Like he just woke up and is like, give me a cigar. Here, I'm going to throw a line in the water.
Give me a chair out there. I can picture him probably from morning till night with that cigar hanging out his mouth, no matter what he's doing.
And even wearing that robe, just kind of like walking around especially his later years. Well, his later years, he was in prison, but that's funny.
I remember Willard Scott. Well, he was a little goofy. That's what Sandra Piper says. Okay. So this says Alphonse Gabriel Capone, sometimes known as nickname Scarface. Al Capone was an American gangster businessman who attained notoriety during the Prohibition era as the co-founder and boss of the Chicago outfit. He was one of the most feared crime bosses of all time. However, the picture shows Capone as an average man relaxing while fishing on his yacht. Yeah.
Old school flag, too.
Is the raft. What?
That's where Al Capone spent, I think, some of his final days in Alcatraz. So that's a good transition.
Everything's wonky. Okay, so this is the raft that the Alcatraz prisoners used to escape from the island in 1962. Clarence Anglin, John Anglin, and Frank Morris escaped Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary on June 11, 1962. They tucked paper mache heads resembling their own into their beds, broke out of the main prison building via ventilation ducts, and departed the island aboard an improvised inflatable raft to an uncertain fate. The raft was later found and can be seen in the picture above. I've been to Alcatraz.
So have I. It's another one of those places. When you see it, it's like, wow, this is a lot smaller than I thought.
Yeah.
It's like, how the hell did these guys sneak out, even under darkness, without anybody seeing them?
That I was amazed how they fit through those ducts, because it was literally like that big. You know, it was
super skinny.
I was like, their heads could barely fit in. So they had to have been extremely skinny to be able to wedge their way in there. But yeah, my husband and I went, and we had the little headphones, and we did the little tour on the headphones. So it was fun doing all of that. We were going to go again too, but I was actually pregnant after we got married, and they wouldn't let me on because I was too far pregnant. And that boat ride out to the island is a little bit choppy.
A little choppy.
When I say a little bit, it's a lot. It's a lot choppy. It's a horrible boat ride. And they were like, nah. They kind of looked at me like, how far along? And I'm like, okay, if you have to ask, then no, I'm not going. I actually think, did he go? And I stayed back. I can't remember now if he still went. And I went shopping. Yeah, I think he did end up going. Because we had somebody with us. So they went, and I stayed back and did shopping along the pier. That's what it was.
Fisherman's Wharf day for you. And that's the movie with Clint Eastwood in it, Escape from Alcatraz, is pretty amazing and pretty close, they believe, to how it all went down, because the raft there was made out of rain jackets that they had contact, like rubber cement, that they sealed all the edges of it and all that stuff to make it sort of inflatable. And they go through the whole thing of how they broke out. It's a very good movie.
Yeah,
but they still don't know for 100% fact that those guys actually made it to shore. Because I mean, you just mentioned just a regular boat ride out there is pretty choppy and pretty ugly
yeah.
on
And
even
it
on a
is
good
shark
day.
infested too.
And there's
It
a lot
is
of sharks there too.
yeah, a lot of sharks. And I mean, that
It's
boat,
heavy.
did that whole jumping thing. I remember the first time. It was like, whoa. Wait a minute. Now I'm starting to think the first one I didn't go with my husband. The second one was the one I couldn't go with him. The first one I think I went with my mom and dad. Okay, let's move on. The radioactive plume from the bomb dropped on Nagasaki is seen from the ground in 1945.
Wow.
So
I've never seen this picture. I can't believe it.
Okay, I don't get it. And is that a picture taken right as it happened, or many time afterwards? Just after. Okay, let me read it. On August 9th, 1945, the US B-29 Super Fortress boxcar dropped the atomic bomb nicknamed Fat Man, which detonated above the ground on northern part of Nagasaki, Japan, just after 11 a.m. Amid all the chaos, a photographer in Koyajima, located 9.6 kilometers away from the area, managed to capture the exact moment of the horrific accident. So look at the guys in the background. They're not even running or concerned. That's actual point of detonation.
Yeah, they I'm sure they saw the flash of light and heard the explosion. And because even being 9.6 kilometers away, it would take several seconds for that sound to travel that far for them to have heard the explosion itself. But they probably was like, was that lightning? What was that? Oh, wait a minute. What's going on over there? Then boom.
Yeah. Now that would travel, right? All the way to them, to where they're at there.
No, not 9.6 kilometers away. Not necessarily. Because remember, this was the first nuclear weapon. By today's standards, they were pretty tiny. They're very small. Because you can pull up pictures of Nagasaki and today, and it looks like everywhere else. It doesn't. It's not like this. Yeah. It's not like Fallout, where it's this vast wasteland of radioactive monsters or anything like that.
Crazy. 1945. The models for American Gothic posed beside the famous painting in 1940. He looks the same. He's like,
he's dead on. I'm sure the missus there had a few complaints about how she came out, but
painted by Grant Wood in 1930, American Gothic is considered to be one of the most iconic pieces of art of the 20th century. It depicts a farmer, Dr. Byron McKibley, standing beside his daughter, Nan Wood Graham, in front of a Gothic-style house. The models for this painting were Wood's sister and their dentist. Wow.
Huh.
Okay. There you go. Okay, boys, hold on. There's Marilyn Monroe filming the subway grate scene in 1955, which is the 7-Year Itch. We are pretty sure you must be familiar with the iconic movie scene. The moment is so important in cinematic history that to this day, the white dress worn by Marilyn Monroe is considered one of the most iconic images of the 20th century. Now, didn't Kim Kardashian wear the dress? Didn't she?
The same dress?
She wore the same. They allowed her to put on the dress, and I don't know. She was wearing iconic dresses from different people, and I know one of them she ripped. Her big booty ripped the back of one of the dresses. But I kind of think that this is one of them that they allowed her to put on. I don't know why they would let her do that, though.
No, why would you let anybody do that?
Yeah, I think that's really stupid. Let me read. Sharon said, have a good one. Good morning, Uncle Bones. Radioactive monsters in Japan. Okay. So Muhammad Ali celebrates his victory over Cleveland Williams in 1966. Well, he is knocked out flat. Look at that.
Yep, he is out. That's an amazing picture.
It is. I wonder who all those people in that first, all those reporters around the. Well, there's 2 rows of actually of reporting. 1, 2, 3. I see tables still.
Yep.
Look at, they have typewriters. Look at them. They're writing on typewriters.
Sure. 1966.
1966. Oh gosh, I remember my first typewriter. Well, I remember using my dad's old typewriter, which was a big old black monster you could kill somebody with. And the ribbon used to always get stuck, or all the letters would get stuck together if you tried to do something too fast. And then when I got to high school, I bought myself a good typewriter, a brother's typewriter, with the black one. It was so nice. I loved it.
An electric one?
Yeah. I was so happy it had the erase function, where it automatically would go back and white out your mistakes. Because before, you had to get the white out and actually, to dab it and blow on it.
Sniff for me, a little bit for the papers. Sniff for me.
Yeah, so I was so excited about that. A dazed boy, his face cut by glass, holding rationed rice ball, following the atomic bomb on Nagasaki. Must have just been devastating. Excuse me.
Oh yeah.
4 years old. I'll just keep moving on. People having a picnic on a deserted highway during the oil crisis in 1973. So, yeah, we had an oil crisis back then. I was 3. I don't remember it very much, but I don't think
6.
they're really picnicking. Those look like protesters to me, but I don't know. Why would you be right there?
Because you can. This is posed for the picture kind of. There's so little traffic, we could have a picnic out here.
Look at the guy. There's a guy playing a flute, huh?
Oh, of course. They're hippies.
They're love children's. Make love, not war. Kaiju says worst picnic ever.
I know.
I agree.
Nice scenic. No, it sucks.
Oh man.
Baking out there on that concrete.
A picnic on the road. That's what it says right there. Spotted Mount Fuji poking through the clouds.
Hey.
I got to see that actually, because when we were coming out of oh gosh, now I forgot the name of it. When we were coming out of South Korea, our first stop was in Japan. And then we went from Japan over to Seattle. I think we came in through Seattle, or was it San Francisco? Gosh, I don't know. It was in 2013. I got to see Mount Fuji. There she was, right there and out the window. It was really awesome. It was an amazing sight. But it wasn't all cloud cover, so we really got to see it. A really good view of it. No picture though. I didn't have a phone or my camera or nothing. So I didn't have a phone period, because the phones we had in Korea were these little, they look like little throwaway cameras that just had Korean on them. And
Yeah, little Nokia kind of.
Yeah, they're just temporary phones you buy while you're there. Just put your husband, my kids,
Well, more importantly, did it have Snake Game on it?
Yeah, it did have some funky old games on there, but we couldn't hook for some reason. We could not connect to an English based what is service, so it was all in Korean. I couldn't even change the language on it or nothing on my little one. So it was just purely a phone to get in touch with my husband and my oldest daughter, who was 10. We did give her a phone because if anything happened in the bus or whatever, she needed to be able to get in touch with, me or her dad. So that was her first phone. Was very young. I don't think I would have given her a phone at that age, but it was a necessity there.
I'll bet.
So here, survivors of the Titanic disaster boarding the Royal Mail ship Carpathia in 1912. So we'll go down. Oh, there wasn't even that many boats, right?
Yeah, it was out in the middle of nowhere, out in the ocean. You got to go back. There was a guy hanging onto a door. His girlfriend wouldn't let him up on it.
There was room. He could have gotten on that door. He could have gotten on, or whatever it was that was floating.
Yeah, it was a door.
1972 Apollo 16 mission astronaut Charles Duke left a picture of his family on the moon.
Neat. I'm quite positive that's quite disintegrated by now, assuming it didn't get blown away when they took off. But
you're right. But this is staged, right? I'm just kidding. I'm not want to start anything, okay? I believe.
Don't get me started.
I know. How many people have been on the moon? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, probably less than a dozen. How many people have been on the moon?
The photo has remained in the same spot for the last 50 years. That's what the thing says.
Google is so weird. How many people have been on the moon is what I put in the Google. The answer, 12 human. No S at the end or anything.
12 human.
12 human.
And 100 aliens.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for the rest. Oh. The United States-Mexico border. Separating the United States and Mexico, the length of the borderline is 1,900 miles. Most of the border is settled on the Rio Grande River. On the border of Texas and northeastern Mexico. To the left of the picture lies San Diego, California, and on the right is Tijuana, Baja California. And that's kind of the same situation here in El Paso. We have on one side, we have El Paso. The other side is Juarez. And yeah, kind of similar thing, Of course, Juarez is it's a bigger town. So you see a bunch of, homes, and they do look a little bit different than our side for sure. And they don't have any infrastructure. So many of the roads there are still not paved.
Yep.
And then you look on our side and it's just, massive structure everywhere. So anyway, solar eclipse is seen from space.
Look at that. You can see the shadow on the Earth itself there.
Yeah, that's crazy. Huh.
That's a cool picture.
The picture captures the moment when the moon stands between the sun and the earth, shading it for a few minutes. How cool is that? All the crew members it took to control the Chucky doll take a picture in the Child's Play movie set in 1988. Whoa. That means they had a person for every leg, arm, face, mouth.
The eyes, the nose, the mouth,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yep. Sure thing. Wow. He's a creepy little thing. Look at the guy with the head thing on. He must run his head, make the head turn and stuff. It doesn't say much. Radio controlled animatronics operated by 9 puppeteers. Sculpture Gutzon Borglum works on a clay model for the Mount Rushmore National Memorial in 1937. Wow. And it never did get finished what they wanted. So, clay models down to their waist, but since there wasn't enough space, he decided to build a room behind the faces, which holds the U.S. historical objects. Cool. Point de Hawk, more than 50 years after the Normandy bombardment on D-Day during World War II.
Those are all bomb craters.
That is amazing. Look at that. Oh my gosh. 110-foot cliff overlooking the English Channel. Wow. The Wendy's girl, Wendy Thomas, actually looked like this. So you really looked like that. She wore her hair like that. Cutesy. That was in 1969. And her name, the hamburger chain, after the $3 Melinda Wendy Thomas, the famous company logo, which featured a young red-haired girl wearing 2 ponytails, was also inspired by Dave's daughter. Dave grabbed his camera, took a photo of his daughter, and that served as the inspiration for the logo. This is the Sistine Chapel as seen from below. You could spend a lot of time in there just looking at every little piece.
It's so detailed.
Right.
Almost all of it that you ever see is that one right in the very middle where you see
the fingers.
God reaching the finger up.
Yeah. You don't realize how big it really is.
Wow.
That's cool. That was between 1473 and 1481. Michelangelo. The climber on Mount Adams looks at the volcano eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980. He's on the other mountain looking at it at the time. I gotta make this smaller. There we go. Wow.
I remember that. That was ugly.
For sure. And I'm going to be right there. Right. Okay. To the left. We are going to be on the... Wait a minute. I have to think about... Yeah. We're going to be on the left side there of that picture. Where we're going to be camping. Amazing. That is amazing. Residents of West Berlin show their children to their grandparents living in East Berlin, 1961. Oh
man, it just seems like such a yesteryear kind of thing to think that there was this physical wall splitting East and West Germany.
Yeah.
That if you even like, I'm surprised well, this was in the 60s. They cracked down a lot of it in the 70s and 80s, where they set up a larger buffer area. Well, on the Soviet side,
Yeah.
that you couldn't even get that close.
Wow. Look, she has stockinged feet, and
I was about to say she's got no shoes on.
She's gonna fall right off the edge of that chair, though. The chair is going to go right off. She's gonna hurt herself. It's in the 28 years the wall stood, at least 100,000 people escaped to West Germany from the east side. In the picture, a family of West Berlin can be seen lifting their children up in the air so that their grandparents on the other side of the wall can meet them.
Ooh.
So nice.
How long are we running today?
A little bit long. Just, you have an extra?
Okay.
You have time or no?
Yeah, I got
Today I'm not in a rush.
Okay. Usually we're quick to get out of here. It's like,
I know.
God,
Usually I am. Usually I am ready to get out, but I don't want to do what I have to do. So we're gonna go longer.
Procrastination. I love it.
I am. The laundry can wait. Yes. So interns run across the Supreme Court Plaza to deliver the marriage equality ruling to the media. Wow, look at them. They're like, I'll be first. 2015. A decision by the U.S. Supreme Court in the case of Obergefell versus Hodges on June 26, 2015, invalidated all states' ban on same-sex marriage, legalizing it in all 50 states and requiring states to honor out-of-state same-sex marriage licenses. So, this is, I see this all the time, pivot irrigation fields in Copeland, Kansas.
Hell, it's Copeland.
Copeland, Kansas. But this, you see this kind of stuff all over the U.S. I've, traveled back and forth the U.S. many times, and I've seen this looking out the window. There you go. These little round,
there's a lot of
round circles.
It was a couple of years ago. There was some YouTube influencer that was posting stuff on Twitter. They were taking a cross-country flight, and they took pictures of this. And they're like, "What is this? What do these symbols mean? What are they for?"
What? Oh my goodness! They didn't know what that was.
Nope. This is where your food comes from that you buy at the grocery store.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's so pretty, though. I mean, they're perfect. Look at them.
See, and I want one of those corners and one of those. That's what I'm looking for. Because those are pretty big. Even like the smaller ones, those corner pieces are still like 7 or 8 acres.
Yeah. Let me see. Does it say here? It doesn't say. So it just says powered by electric motors, lines of sprinklers rotate 360 degrees to evenly irrigate crops. Nearly 85% of the irrigated areas in these 3 states of Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska are watered using central pivot sprinkler irrigation systems. So there you go.
Yep.
The Parthenon is actually located right in the middle of Athens, Greece.
Yep. Never been there.
Wow. I don't think that's gonna make it.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think it's gonna
It does seem like after all this time that those columns and stuff like that would have tumbled down just from like earthquakes and everything else. But obviously they built it to last. It's pretty sturdy stuff to stand the test of time like that.
And you do see the scaffolding in the background there. So they probably are shoring it up somehow. Doing something.
I would think there's certainly parts of it for sure, but
yeah,
we could even see like the angles in that lower picture where it had an angular facade that made up the part of the roof.
Oh, right.
And all that stuff that have all crumbled away.
They should have put a picture of what it used to look, an animation or whatever. Of what it would look like. Pizza Hut with a view in Egypt. Now that is a view, let me tell you. Look at that.
By the way, the first Pizza Hut, Wichita, Kansas. That's where it was invented.
Oh, God. Wichita. If he was smart, he would have made that roof
Right on
be
top.
on the
Yeah.
top. Or right in the middle, one of the two.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not good, not the best framing.
Right. Madison Square Garden, New York City, and under construction in the mid 1960s.
Huh.
Well, that's right in the middle there, isn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say, even in the 60s, everything's all crowded right there against it.
The original Michelin Man from the 1900s. Look at him. Oh my goodness.
But he does have fashionable shoes on, so he's got that going for him.
Look at that. Oh,
Sponsored by Chiclets.
I was just gonna say that. Look, there's chiclets on the bottom.
Is it a sign above his head too?
Where? Oh yeah.
Michelin Man.
Wow.
You know that guy's sweating to death in that.
The Michelin Man, also known as Bebedenim. 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 Yeah, was conceived by Edouard and Andre Michelin, the two brothers who founded the Michelin Company. According to the corporate history, Edouard noticed a stack of tires at the auto industry shown in Lyon, France in 1894. He remarked to Andre that it looked like a man without arms or legs. And that's how later the famous character was born.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Margaret Hamilton standing next to the code she wrote, which took Apollo the second to the moon in 1969.
It's Apollo 11. That.
Oh, yes.
It's not a Roman numeral. But yeah, writing out code. Tall as she is.
That's crazy.
Behold the power of math.
1969 moon landing. Usually the first names that pop into our head belong to astronauts Apollo 11. However, there were many anonymous heroes involved in the mission. One was Margaret Hamilton, an American computer scientist whose code allowed the ship's computer to recognize error messages and ignore low priority tasks, guiding the astronauts safely during their moon landing. And this is the U.S.-Canada border on Ross Lake. So what is that? It's right down the middle?
Carved a row of trees to mark the border? That's kind of weird.
Wow. Ross Lake is a large reservoir in the North Cascade Mountains of Washington State and British Columbia. The U.S. portion of Ross Lake is in Ross Lake National Recreation Area in British Columbia, and the lake is a part of Skagit Valley Provincial Park, and Manning Provincial Park is nearby to the east. Blah, blah. The borderland can be seen clearly marked on the woods on the back of the picture. So, yeah. Is there a fence? Is it all like the southern border? I don't know.
Would assume it was just open like everywhere else. But why would you carve out trees just there must be a fence there. There has to be.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think.
Does not say. The original Hollywood sign in 1924. What is that? Mulholland Drive right there. What is does it say? It doesn't say.
Probably.
The Hollywood sign was built in 1923 to advertise the name of the new LA housing development. Wow, I didn't know that. The sign had 4,000 light bulbs that would light up during the night in different sections. Hollywood Land. Oh, it would Hollywood Land.
Huh.
Would light up individually before the entire sign. The four last letters of the sign were dropped after renovation in 1949. So cool little bit of history there.
There's actually a person standing on the running boards of that car. It's hard to see.
Where is there? Are you sure?
I think. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. I don't know. See now. Whoa. Nope. Now see, I ruined it.
Oh, jeez.
I ruined it. Yeah, I ruined it. I don't know where we are now. I guess that's it. That's all. Ooh, that's not a good one.
Yeah, let's not end on that one.
Yeah. Neil Armstrong's family watching him launch.
That's actually a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I guess we'll call it. We'll call it there. I tried to. Oh, look, see, my picture's all fuzzy again because I moved. Dang it. There it goes. There it goes. It's going.
Well, the Nikki high five.
I'm doing the high five. We're going to call it the high five because everybody's seen me do it now. It's a good camera. If I move, it gets all freaky. Gets all crazy on me. So, what do you got coming up? I did see you on with the boys the other night. That was nice to see.
That was kind of a surprise last minute thing where the gang over at Paranormal Shop. I can't guarantee they will be on this Saturday, but the plan is that they'll start doing a regular show every Saturday night. So
that's good. That's good. Those guys are funny. It's a good show. So everybody, tonight, don't forget 7 p.m. Mountain. We've got movie nights, The Ape Man, and In the Beginning double feature. So I hope to see you all there. Joe, I will get you the link probably half hour before. Jennifer, if you're out there and want to join, let me know, and I will be getting in touch with Leon. Hopefully those will be my guests for this evening, and we should have a good time. So another week, Enzo, has gone by.
Yep. Seems like it was just yesterday we were doing this last week.
I know. Got to stay busy. So, hey, everybody, thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button and share the show. Leave me in the comments what you want us to talk about, and we can do that, huh? So until then, see you tonight, everybody. Love ya.